years of temporary sugar protection is enough. Brian Riley, 2014. Will Rogers was right. If a business thrives under a protected tariff, that doesn't mean that it has been a good thing. It may have thrived because it made the people of America pay more for the object than they should have. So a few have got rich at the cost of many. Congress should make the 80th year of temporary sugar protection for the sugar industry its last. Okay, they've been bringing up a whole lot about this burden of proof. And the point here that I want to make is that, one, we have held that, and we have proved all of our arguments. We have proved significance, we have proved solvency, and we have proved our advantages. And yet, in my partner's speech, he said that not that we wouldn't have to uphold our end, but that the negative team would also have to uphold theirs. And they have not. That is my response to that. They have not upheld their side of the bargain. Okay, they also, it was also their contention that Mexico has dumped and there's a lot of free dumping. Well, my partner already replied to that in his speech, saying that competition is good for the market. Competition is actually good for the market. It provides innovation and it encourages a better product. They also brought up how it's a risk to national security. It is a risk to national security. Actually, free trade has never, ever been a risk to national security. It has never been a risk to national security. They also brought up some evidence about corn, how the corn syrup industry started leaning towards removing the sugar program, and then they realized that I don't think we want to touch that, because the corn syrup industry is actually what replaced sugar when sugar prices went so high because of the sugar program. So corn syrup was just like, all right, so this program is actually keeping the sugar prices higher. So why would we want to get rid of that? So again, this is what I'm pointing out here is that they have biased evidence. And I also want to go over that the 1NR speech was the exact same evidence that they already brought up in the 1NC. And it was the same evidence that we had already disproven. Okay, so they also said that they had a goal of effective policy, which they did not bring up until the 2NC. And and yet she still stated that it was in the 1NC, when in fact it was not. And we actually did not ever have a chance to say that it was not a goal that we agree with, and not a goal that we are going to abide by, since we had already brought up the goal of crony capitalism, which leads me to my next point. The goal of crony capitalism hasn't been touched by the negative team, So we, of course, are combating crony capitalism, and yet the negative team has not combated it whatsoever, has not brought up any proof to say that they have combated it, and haven't even brought up any proof saying that it was a bad thing. Thus, that argument flows to the affirmative side, and we win that argument. Okay. We have already showed, again, we have abided by the burden of proof. We have abided by the burden of proof, and we have showed how our team is significant, how it is solvent, and it is our advantages still stand. So thus, all the arguments that we brought up in our 1AC still stand until the very end of the round, Again, and we showed how the sugar industry actually hurts jobs, and it is a significant harm. They actually, yes, and for all of these reasons, for the reasons that the negative team has dropped all of our arguments from the 1AC, has not tried to uphold even their own burden of proof, and has not even touched the goal that we stated in our 1AC, which was combating crony capitalism. And for all of these reasons, I urge for an affirmative ballot.